Is the Ricoh GR Digital from 2005 still a relevant and fun camera to use today in 2024? Stick around to find out. Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Dr. Nick Danger here, not a real doctor, and I am coming back to you with another GR video. You guys seem to really like my other GR videos, so here I am. I am also liking the GR myself since I got myself the GR3 recently. This is the 3X, and I talked to you about the accessories and the cool thing you can do with a viewfinder for it and a couple of other videos, so you can check those out if you'd like. But today, I would like to talk to you about the original GR Digital. This right here is the very first digital GR camera that Ricoh produced back in 2005. Now, I realize it's been almost 20 years since then. Why are we talking about this camera? Well, I just loved my GR3 so much. The handling of it, I just loved the layout of the controls, what it does to your photography. You can just have it in your hand and walk around the street, and street photography is just a breeze. So I got curious about the trendy digicam look that if you're a photographer and if you're watching photography videos, looking at photos online, you've probably heard of over the past couple of years. It's become a little bit of a trend, and for good reason. These older digital cameras with CCD sensors have a certain quality to the way they render colors as well as black and whites, which is what this guy is specifically known for. It has those same qualities of the digicam look that you're looking for in a GR body. So if you've become a fan of the GR style of photography with your purchase of a GR3 or a GR2 or a GR, and you're looking to explore the digicam look, I think the original Ricoh GR Digital, if you can find one, is a little bit of fun and also to create some really cool photos. So I want to talk about the color though. So I've seen a lot of people talk about the straight out of camera black and white JPEGs that this camera can produce, and they are absolutely right. It does make really cool black and white JPEGs straight out of camera that you can use, and it saves you some editing time. But I want to talk about the colors because I didn't see a lot of people talk about the raw capabilities of this camera. This camera shoots raw, and yes, you've probably heard it. It takes about 10 seconds for it to record a raw image. Let's take one right now so you can watch for yourself. So this is how long it takes. Count the Mississippis. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. I'm not doing it, but you get the idea. It takes a while to record a raw file, but personally, I don't mind it. I'm on the street, I have this thing around my wrist, and I'm going around, I make my composition, take my shot, and I keep walking. I'm not hanging around for a second shot. There's a French expression and idea that talks about if something is already good, don't try to make it better. If you saw your frame, if you took the picture, don't try to stand there again and, well, if I turn it a little bit to the left, if I turn it a little bit to the right, nope, that was your picture, just move on. So given the fact that I try to follow that advice, these 10 seconds, 12 seconds that it took to record that raw file didn't bother me. Especially because when I go to my computer, to the Lightroom, maximum of 2 gigabytes, by the way, you guys, remember, you need an old SD card. If you don't have these things laying around, like I didn't, you need to go buy one. So I spent money buying a really old style SD card, 2 gigabyte maximum, no SDHC, none of those things. You need SD, that's it, very simple. The raw files with the colors, I'm liking them. There's so much you can do with these raw files in terms of recovering shadow details, especially, which is so impressive for a camera that's almost 20 years old. There are people younger than this camera that can vote now. That's how old this camera is, and it's still producing raw files that I enjoy. Now, are you gonna make really jaw-droppingly sharp, crisp, really detailed photographs with these? No, but that's not what you're after if this is the camera you're going with. This is the camera you're going with if you're looking for that digicam look. In short, it has to do with a certain quality that the CCD sensors produce. The colors are a certain way, you get a certain kind of grain, and of course, this guy gets an on-camera flash that the new GR3s don't have, unfortunately. But this is such a fun thing too, that also gives you a very specific look. And I will show in a slideshow right after this a bunch of photos that you can look through. I took a walk around Los Angeles and took a bunch of street photos to showcase what this camera can do once you get the raw files out of it and put them through your Lightroom and sharpen them up a little bit, fix up the colors, bring some of the shadow detail back. If you buy a copy of this camera, you're likely to get it with a dead battery. So I went and bought a Wasabi replacement battery for this. It takes the same batteries as the newer GRs did, all the way up to GR2, and then they changed it for GR3. These things you can get for like 18 bucks for a couple of these. Comes with a charger. I shot probably 100 pictures. It's not a very power-hungry camera. It's a vibe, to be honest. Like, I'm looking at these things like not what can it do compared to what's available now, but rather from a perspective of what can I do with what it can do. I also want to talk a little bit about the menu options. So of course you have your quick menu. You press in the adjust dial. You can customize what these are. For me, I have my focus, which is on spot autofocus most of the time. I do sometimes use snap and infinity, believe it or not. When you're in infinity, it's actually very handy because it's a small sensor and you put infinity focus and your background of whatever street scene you're shooting, will be in focus. And if you put your aperture on 5.6, everything will be in focus. So that's a really handy way of getting everything in focus. But in case I want to focus on other things, which is a lot of the times, and I take my time framing the shot with this thing, I leave it on spot focus. But you have that infinity in case you want to do that 5.6 thing I just talked about. This is in case I want to shoot JPEG. You can choose black and white, color modes, hard, normal, soft, black and white, a tinted black and white. I have my own setting, which is just more contrast, more sharpness, and more color when it comes to color JPEGs, but I'm on RAW 90% of the time. So only when I want to shoot some speedy shots back to back to back do I change it to JPEG. And if I do, I already have this pre-saved on my setting one that will kick in. So let's go back to RAW. Here I have my ISO setting. I just want to say I keep it on auto most of the time. It goes up to 800, no more than that. And on 800, you get a fair amount of color noise as well as grain. But if you're doing black and white, it'll look just fine. I keep mine on auto and I don't think about it. Simple as that. The menu is also very simple. You have the basic stuff, picture quality, your metering mode, I keep on multi. You have bracketing and interval options. You can imprint the date, exposure compensation, white balance, ISO, flash, exposure compensation. That's it. And when it comes to the rest of the setup, it's also very simple. You can format LCD. You can change the direction of the front dial if you want, from right to left or left to right. Really some simple stuff. And here are the customizations for your quick menu. Overall, the point being that the setup is really simple on this, and that's one of the nice things about this original Ricoh GR Digital. There are 4 generations of the GR Digital. There is the GR Digital 1, which is what we see here, all the way to GR Digital 4, which was released in 2011. Also a very old camera. I might be getting one of those soon, so stay tuned for a review of the GR Digital 4 possibly, but this guy is a legend. It has its own cult following, especially when it comes to those black and white JPEGs, but back to what I was saying earlier, I really want you guys to see the color capabilities of this when it comes to RAW. Be a little patient. 10-12 seconds is not so bad. Frame your shot mindfully and get the shot right, and you will enjoy the RAW processing. So without further ado, I will now show you some of the pictures I took in the middle of Los Angeles with this thing earlier today. All color processed in Lightroom from the RAW files created very patiently by this beautiful Ricoh GR Digital from 2005. Enjoy.